can beat your time, but not in the same way, not in a good way.
That one's definitely going to stay. We are into champion select, though, so I'm going to hand it over to Trajan.
Thank you very much, Yeso. Let's see what we've got. The expected bans coming through. Again, the Vi, so far unbanned. Normally do see that one taken through. Wukong's kind of ignored these days. And you were telling me earlier, RMC, you think the B1s today have been a bit suspicious in general.
Yeah, it's not really a great read so far from me in terms of what we're going to see for first picks. Nico has seemingly just fallen off the face of the earth, neither picked nor bad. Like, see, I would have still think maybe, you know, the likes of a Wukong for Karaoke or his favorite Vi that he prefers, but the Ivern coming out instead, which did get nerfed a little bit, or specifically Daisy got nerfed a little bit. I still think Ivern is very strong and definitely a first pickable, at least better than Chase. I think Chase has been punished a lot within CBLOL, and Kabum, they've picked that. We've seen Crossdale play it. We've seen Lonely play it as well, and I don't know who they're going to send it to right now. It's a good flex start.
I would guess that it is going to be the Tristana mid. That has been even banned for Tristana several times today, and we've seen that come into the mid lane more and more, and Crasdale has been happy to get aggressive when his picks are allowing for it. We've seen them give it to Lonely before, and him have a very strong lane and early and mid game performance there. For Pain, they've locked in the Kai'Sa again. Now, Kai'Sa has not had the most successful day today.
It's also not been played by B-Boy yet so far. So this will be the first Kai'Sa for B-Boy, who I think has looked best on scaling champions. And, you know, the Aphelios, the Zeri, the Xayah. So a bit of a change up. B-Boy did play Lucian earlier this split, but even that one was still a little bit rough. And I think Kai'Sa, somewhere in between that sort of Lucian versus Hyperscale, is a bit more about the mid game.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely less of a backline favorite champion, right? You can't just sit back and pump out damage. You need to be picking your moment to get aggressive and get inside that short range. So we'll see how B-Boy can handle that, as Weiser's back on the ever-present Gnar in the top lane. Happy to pick that one up, even into a potentially rough Chase matchup. Weiser's Gnar has just been ungodly good right now, so fair to see that one. As Kabum's answer is the Varus, so we likely will be seeing Varus down into Raven's hands. It's another pick. I don't think we've seen him pick that one yet so far, but as I said, his pool has been a bit off the wall compared to other bot laners, and this is finally a pick that we know definitely has a lot of power to leverage.
Yeah, and Raven, you know, he's been trying things like the Ashe, like the Ezreal. He's trying to find something that works for him, and it hasn't been the case. I think Varus, a bit of a utility champion, or can be a bit of a utility champion with the Chains of Corruption, though he can also output damage. So a good balance for Raven to try out. Now, we do know for a fact that because Kabum has showed that, they are looking for their jungler and their support. So they can be targeted despite the fact that 2 of 3 of their first picks were all flex picks, but they've kind of tipped their hand. Pain, very obviously still looking for support and mid lane, and for now, Kabum are targeting Dinkedo in that mid lane.
Yeah, we do have the jungle focus from Pain, the Maokai and Wukong taken away. Zac locked in for Kabum. Now this could actually technically be support, but I think it is going to be jungle for Flawless with the long range engage. Is this our first Zac of the split?
I want to say yes. I know Tay played it last split, but I don't think, he hasn't played this split. So, yeah, I think it's the first one of the split. And as you mentioned, I believe it was the LCS earlier this week who had their first Zac support. I want to say of the split, potentially. And we might again see it here. So still a bit of a flex to come through, but Pain don't care. Pain have been picking the things not to counter necessarily what Kabum's bringing to the table. They're just picking what's good for them and what's really, really solid. The Azir for Dinkedo, a staple pick and his most played champion last split. And I think it's going to do well in this fight. They needed some sort of safer sustained damage rather than Kai'Sa, who's a bit more bursty and has to put herself in harm's way a little bit more.
Yeah, I've been singing the praises of How's Azir up and down the CBLOL this split, but Dinkedo is the benchmark for this champion in this region. His Azir is absolutely godlike, and paired up with the Weiser Gnar, a lot of comfort in those solo laners as the final rel picked up, gives them a nice engage plus Kai'Sa. So the only real the spice on the Pain side, we've got Karaoke on the Ivern. We haven't seen him use this one just yet. And then the B-Boy Kai'Sa that we flagged up is not necessarily how he's been finding the most success in the split so far. We'll see how he handles that. But the solo lanes, I am very confident the Pain will be highly comfortable in that set.
So just quick correction, Karaoke did play it against Fluxu last week, but it's only his second Ivern. So we've seen some, and honestly, I thought it looked good for Karaoke. His Ivern play last time. It's a very good utility supportive pick, and especially when you've got an Azir on your team and a Kai'Sa as well, because Ivern brings along a buddy, Daisy, and she can go in, set up that dive as well with that Kai'Sa. But I think we talked enough. Yeso, an outsider's point of view, who's been looking at that draft, you know, where are you at with this draft?
I mean, I love the Pain draft. very standard, a lot of really good picks. It feels like they probably got really everything that they wanted, and I love getting to see Weiser back on the Gnar that he's looked so good on so far this split. Top lane Jace is interesting. I think this might be the first top lane Jace, maybe the second we've seen this split, but I think it's really fascinating when you look at the double marksman comp with a Jace as well. A lot of poke for the side of Kabum here, and that siege is going to be really tough to deal with. So this feels like a game, if Kabum can have a solid early game, they have the tools to win. But it does feel like if you slip up once, Pain will punish you, and you highlighted it, RMC. If they can get that lead, they will finish the game. We are, though, on to the Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, Pain Gaming and Kabum to close out the first round robin, in the beautiful voices of Trajan and RMC bring you all the action.
Kabum fighting to get their first win here today, RMC, in this round robin. As you informed me earlier today, no team has ever gone 0-9 in the first round robin since we moved to this format in 2019. So history is with Kabum here today. Obviously the matchup very, very difficult, and they've already broken some records with their game time. So we'll see if they want to break another one here today, as Lonely gets batted back to his side of the river.
Yeah, face check in the bush right there. That actually went a lot better than it could have, Trish. And I was watching Pain collapse and thinking, please, not like this, right? Kabum already had an unfortunate event, I think it was last week, where they started, their level 1 went awry and things went south for them. But for now, head to 0-0. So yeah, no team so far since 2019 has gone winless in the first round robin. There, however, has been a team which actually went winless entire split back when it was best of 2. And interestingly enough, there's one player on Kabum who was on that roster.
Yeah.
Crustiel, in that split, went 0-14. So, fingers crossed. I mean, we aren't there yet. This is only the first round robin. Part of me wants to root for Kabum as an underdog, but the Pain fan in me just wishes it wasn't this game, you know?
I used to be a Minus fan, and heaven knows I love an underdog in the CBLOL. I love to root for the underdog, but as I said in the pregame, this just feels like an insurmountable task for Kabum, and I would love to be proven wrong. The games today have been proving us wrong left, right, and center.
True.
But Kabum with the toughest ask today, as this bot lane brush play is already getting quite tense at level 1, but it will be level 2 first for the Pain side if they want to press this advantage. Redbert and Raven have to give them the respect. Double crash down from Pro Delta. Redbert headbutts B-Boy away to avoid the follow-up. He will still remain in control on the Pain side.
Yeah, and of course that's why you picked the Alistair. That was a really nice pick from Kabum to round out their composition, to kind of counter Rel whenever she wants to engage. Now, Trajan, we didn't get to talk too much about how these compositions want to interact in the pick and bans earlier. Let's start with Kabum, because they've been trying various iterations, pardon me, that's the word I'm looking for, of these sort of high physical damage compositions, like triple AD carry threats almost with Jace in a lot of their iterations. And it hasn't been working out for them. The problem has been sort of the front line. And this time they've got an Alistar, they've got a Zac, so they've got a lot more beef. The question is whether they get flanked at any point. And while I've not been a fan of Kai'Sa, especially being blinded when Xayah's on the table, I like where Pain have actually picked it now, because they need somebody who can dive that back line, and it's not just going to be Weiser on this Gnar. B-Void can now start diving the backline and one-shotting the carries, whether it be Jace, whether it be Tristana, or Varus. But for Pain to do this, they need B-Void ahead. So I'd love to see attention being spent into that bot lane, get B-Void ahead for Pain, or if you're Kabum, shut down B-Void and make sure there isn't a backline threat, and that you can actually play front to back.
B-Void ahead, a pretty reliable strategy for Pain thus far. One of the few remaining AD carries still doing an insanely high damage percentage for his team as Karaoke. He's found an angle onto Lonely in the top side. Looking for that route into the wave, flashes away. Goes the Jace flash, and Karaoke gets the route. Weiser set up for the first blood. And the Pain top side going from strength to strength.
Well, you know, that's why we get a little bit concerned for Jason, especially in the top lane. It's only been played once this split, by Lonely especially. And one of the reasons why we've not been seeing as much top lane Jace is also because the extended lane is a little bit dangerous. And with the attention we've been seeing, with the ganks we've been seeing a lot as well, Jace can be vulnerable. Now Lonely, blowing TP to get back into lane, has no more flash, has to be careful for a re-gank from Karaoke. Probably not right away, since Karaoke wants to keep on farming, or actually is looking down at bot side right now. But there's plenty of time, 5 minutes before that flash comes back up.
Wiser able to go quickly into those plated steel caps there with the first blood goal. So he's got the extra mobility to play with. He's got defense to avoid the poke that can come out of Lonely, using the range advantage. Wiser going to be very comfortable, I dare say, in this topside matchup. Karaoke arrives on bot line. Raven has already recalled. Redbird just keeping an eye on things. Pain with a nice start for themselves. As he touched on before, quite slow starters normally. Pain, the one game where they tried to draft a fast comp, it looked very, very bad. And normally they just kind of wait and hold out in the first 15 minutes. When they finally decide to get that win, they close it out very quickly.
Well, to put it optimistically, Jason, they know their power spikes and they play around
it. We'll say that. We'll give him that.
Yeah. They need some time to skill up, with the Azir, with the Kai'Sa here. So it's only right that they take it slow. And Karaoke's been doing a good job roaming around as well. Now, Flawless did manage to secure both scuttles on the map because of that gank from Karaoke early, so Flawless is in a comfortable position, has a significant lead over Karaoke. The big problem is how and where Zac looks to gank, and a lot of times Zac, despite being known for his Elastic Slingshot hitting you from like a screen or two away, you actually need a couple of levels in Elastic Slingshot before you get that massive range. Level 1, Elastic Slingshot's range is actually pretty short. Usually it's 3 points into it around that level 5 mark. So Flawless is there. Let's see if he starts opting to gank and make action happen. I'm still hoping for some some bot lane focus from Kabum.
We have seen that Karaoke has been focusing more on the lanes. Is a little bit down in the CS department, but has his own boots sorted out. And now Flawless has arrived in the bot side. Prodelta's used the crash down already, and B-Boy might have some summoners here. Flash from the rail. In goes Redbird followed up.
Oh,
lovely Q from Flawless. Locks them both down, and Raven pumping out the damage. It is a successful clapback for Kabum in bot.
Gorgeous, and of course that will lead to Dragon being opened up for Kabum as well if they want to just shove this bot lane. Or are they doubling down? B-Boy has no more summoners.
Okay, he knows that this is looking pretty tough, but Flawless is already in, lands on top of him, can get another knock together with the minions. Redbird already had to use his flash in that previous fight, and B-Boy will get away, but no summoners left for him. Free plate farming for Raven.
Yeah, that plate, that entire wave as well, and they still have time to go for Dragon if they want. Oh, great knockback.
Crastiel, he's been caught in the wrong timing here. Karaoke was ready for it, then Kato can Emperor's Divide shuffle him right into range, and the last auto will secure it for the Ivern. Crastiel just not quite keeping track of where the tree man was hiding.
Yeah, and because of that action in the mid lane, because Crastiel gets picked, Kabum end up leashing the Dragon for Pain because they went for it, which is the right call. You had the priority, but then you lost it when Crastiel go down, and Pain will be thanking Kabum for that one, keeping the game on a very even keel. Heck, 8-side advantage still.
The advantage really to speak of is in Raven's pocket now. A player that we have had our criticisms for, struggling to keep up with our other insanely stacked, to be fair, bot lane pool that we have in the CBLOL. We're still waiting to see Raven realize any potential that is there. Now he has a bit of gold to work with. He gets that mythic before too long, and looks like he is going for crit Varus, so at least the static shift first perhaps into AP has been common in previous patches.
Yeah, and with the static shift changes, you used to be able to build Varus multiple ways, right? There was the lethality build, the AP build, the on-hit sort of hybrid build, the Kraken Slayer, like physical damage build. So there's like 4 builds that I can think off the top of my head. Now, with static shift though, the on-hit sort of hybrid is not as good because the scalings have been significantly reduced in static shift. So I suspect we're actually going to see full-on AP Varus here, also to provide a bit more mixed damage profile. You've already got physical damage from Tristana and Jace on your team in your solo lanes.
It's going to be filling out that lovely damage profile, as you see on the top side. They're just playing it out as normal. Lonely not found any more issues up there really. The Herald is ready, but Karaoke's down on that bot side, potentially looking for any camps, but there are none. So Raven and Redbird instead taking up standing in that bottom tribe rush. So Pain, they've got themselves a decent lead out of the gate. They now found Redbird hanging around a bit too long. In fact, the headbutt's there, but there's no indomitable will. Redbird's just going to be ticking away. He will survive, but probably can't stick around.
I was going to say, you just got saved by a Daisy nerf too. If Daisy knocked up his fast move as fast as she did before, that they might have been able to run down Redbird. As it stands, Ignite expended by Prodelta, no kill. Wiser trying to stop this Herald, but considering that we saw First Blood in that top side, Lonely's been able to equalize incredibly well.
Cancels away from the Herald. Instead looks for the Gnar. Doesn't get the knock up. There's one more minion if he wants the Q, but he calls it all off. Maybe aware that there is a two-man unit of Dinkato and Karaoke heading up the river, and Wiser taking the time to get some poke. Raven finds an ult onto B-Boy. The 1v1 in bot side. He's got the Blight stack stacked up. If he can proc them, he could find this win. Needs to get the arrow, and Raven with a 1 versus 1.
Okay, Trajan. Raven heard us, and he's here to show us why he's getting up Pro Delta. New challenger approaches. No ignite for this realm.
Be aware of Pro Delta cleanses. Doesn't use the flash. I think that's fair. Knows there's no real way he's getting out.
Yeah, the moment Magnet Storm came down from Pro Delta, it was lights out. Raven had to flash immediately or not at all. And you know what? That's fine if you're Raven. You still found that solo kill onto B-Boy. You're still denying the CS. Sure, you fed over a kill, but it's over to Rel, it's over to the support. It's not game ending. More importantly was the fact that Karaoke and Dinkedo managed to secure Herald for Pain Gaming. So, some more gold in their pocket. This lead is growing, Trajan. It's slow, but it's there.
Raven, you can see the only red gold bar on the chart tracking there. The rest of it is all pain all day for anyone that's not a support.
Oh man, yeah, it's just a field of blue right now. It's the ocean here for Pain Gaming, and it's only going to grow because, like we mentioned, you know, the Herald's still in pocket as well for Karaoke. To me, it's just a question of which turret do you want to break, and more, who do you want to funnel gold into on the side of Pain Gaming? They're spoiled for choice right now. Wiser will continue to do Wiser things. I don't think you necessarily want to drop Herald top because a longer lane wouldn't benefit Wiser. But getting gold into either B-Boy or Dinkedo is good. Both of them can be massive carries for this team throughout the mid-game, throughout the upcoming bigger team fights.
Both very reliable in that mid to late game. B-Boy completes his Kraken Slayer right now and does have a decidedly stronger 1v1 item compared to the Static Shift. Now he's even that one up, but I imagine Raven is well aware of that. And Dinkedo onto the Crown of Shatter Queen as well. So a fairly soft power spike for Dinkedo on that first pick, but does give him that defense against the engage from Tristana, from the Zac that could be coming his way.
Now, we heard last game as well, we were talking a little bit about that Crown of the Shattered Queen, and yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the best item into a Tristana, because it's very easy for Tristana to proc the Crown of the Shattered Queen. Heck, you can do it incidentally from the minion wave as well with the explosive shot, killing minions. So, the fact that Dinkedo is picking this to me feels more like for the upcoming fights and skirmishes to deal with the poke and nullify what's coming through from Jace. And we've already seen in CBLOL today, Jace poke, it's very hard to get consistent amounts of damage. Ah, I forgot to do that. Hey, it's late, but it's there. We're not seeing a lot of time for Jace to get poked. Usually it's like 1-2 shock blasts, and that's it, and then the fight kicks off. So I like the item for team fights, but you kind of got to get Dinkedo away from this 1v1 with Cross CL if you want to maximize that mid piece.
Herald dropped into the mid lane for Dinkedo, gets a couple of plates for himself, doing very nicely in this Azir matchup. We'll see where the build goes from here, as Wiser seems to have taken a bit of a rough trade to get a plate of his own in that top lane. There's the juicy fruit to pick it up, keep him nice and tops up. Wiser, as you said, doing Wiser things, just completely commanding this top lane, as he has been all split long.
Yeah, and for Lonely, this isn't a terrible idea as well. I mean, a lot of times for Jace, if there's no reason to leave the lane, you just want to power farm as much as possible, stack your tier, hit that mirror mana power spike. That's when Jace really comes on, like 2 items. So Lonely is okay with this, and like we said, Lonely's not doing badly. Wiser is taking control, but that's more about pressure, less about actual kills and denying Lonely. Dragon is up. Both these teams kind of looking for this, and Flawless going in.
Flawless really looking for it, gets 1Q onto B-Boy, but won't find a target to bonk the heads together, and Kabum instead. At the start of this Dragon, but Pain have other ideas, committing onto Lonely. Wiser takes a chunk and gets away for his trouble. Flash burn keeps him alive, and the Dragon still being worked on. Do Kabum want a hard commit for this? It's too low, you've got to stick it. It's picked up by Flawless. Can we get out alive? B-Boy interrupted by Flawless, and the rest of Kabum running for the hills into the jungle. Wiser is mega over the wall, has his flash, looks to be engaged, finds the stun, cleansed up by Raven. The shuffle doesn't land. Can Varus desperately make his way home safe? But B-Boy stops him up, and Redbird with the ult keeps him alive for now, but we're kind of stuck here, guys.
Daisy coming in, gonna tag this one up so Pain can keep on going.
Yeah, Redbird the first taken away. A re-engage by Flawless, in fact, who does have his Zac passive to give Crasiel some time to fire away, but there's just too much HP on Pain, man.
Yeah, there's no minions, there's no safety. You guys dive just at the edge of turret range where Pain can fight you without stepping under, and Pain, sure, we trade offer. You take Dragon. we'll take your lives and we'll take, oh, no more plates, the past 14 minutes, but we'll take damage on this bot side turret instead. Heck, look for maybe even first turret. And props to Pro Delta. Pro Delta goes in aggressively, and look how much time he buys. Because Kabum is fighting Pro Delta, because they're looking for the kill, they don't get out in time. And Dinkido and Weiser, who got baited out by Lonely, great props to Lonely as well for buying them that time, but it's in vain because they managed to follow up. And then literally you can see Pain right here, they're just waiting for Daisy to come. The minions have walked away. Crosstail and Redbird, yeah, kind of dead to rights. Folus had no need to come in as well.
Yeah, looking for the B-Boy catch perhaps, but he has his flash ready, gets straight back to his team, and then you've just served yourself up to those 4 waiting, hungry members of Pain. And they will happily take down, extend their goal. Weiser maybe caught out a little bit here. Headbutt keeps him out of the tower, but a Mega Gnar will scoop him to safety. Weiser not going to be caught out like this, pulls the recall. I imagine the Triforce is ready and waiting for him.
Yeah, anytime anybody ganks Weiser, Trajan, I clench. And not because I think Weiser's in trouble, but it's like, part of me's like, is he going to try and scoop Redbird under turret? Like,
if he had Triforce, I think he does. I think he wins, honestly, if he has the Triforce done.
Yeah, especially when Mega Form too. That felt a bit risky, but for Kabum, they don't lose anything for that attempt on that play, right? And they have to make some sort of attempt to come back into the game. They've started falling behind, and we talked about sort of the triple marksman or triple AD style team compositions. One thing that you have to note about that is you don't have a lot of burst traditionally with it. Now, you do have a Varus, and AP Varus is very bursty. But we talked about Static Shift before. It's not a great all-in item. It's more about the poke, so they don't have that upfront burst. If you start to fall behind as Kabum, you're really going to struggle in these fights. Lonely and Crossdale need time to scale up, and you contrast that to what Dinkido and specifically B-Boy, when we're talking about burst, can do. If you lose somebody right off the bat, Kabum is just going to flat out lose those team fights.
Certainly are. B-Boy going for the crit build today. No AP Kai'Sa for him here. Not going to be poking. It's all about that DPS in the fights as the Herald picked up by Karaoke in that top side, looking to probably drop it straight away. Dinkido once again going to be the beneficiary there, as Lonely will probably manage to find this bot lane tower and answer, but it is a small compensation. It's Pain Gaming. There's no answer for Kabum.
Oh no!
So close. So close.
Pain has denied me pay a couple of times now, Trajan. Once by blocking the Eye of the Herald from being picked up. Now, Dinkido takes the turret before the charge. I actually thought they were going to get a double pay on this play. They had the members there. Karaoke was there. Pro Delta was there. And only Crossdale was top. But they actually opt to walk away. Does that make a big difference for the game, Trajan? No. Does it make me personally very disappointed? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There is certainly pain to be felt, even though none of it is actually being felt by Pain Gaming right now. RMC, as a fan, you know, the Pain Gaming fans really absorb the vast majority of the pain in gaming.
One way or another, Pain will deliver. Right now, though, they are delivering Pain to Kabum on a silver platter, and the rotations as well. Look at them. Pain now grouping up towards that mid lane, the last standing outer turret, and Kabum have to be aware of it. You kind of have to answer. If you don't answer and you give this up, you start to lose pressure on the Dragon, on the Baron. And speaking of Dragon, that's coming up in 15 seconds as well. So Kabum need to start making sure they're in that area, that they have the vision to actually contest this.
Out the mid lane, rotating up to the top side of the river. 2 members of Pain currently farming up the CS there. And Kabum just placing down wards. You know, we're just kind of walking around looking for a play to make, but Pain Gaming rotating over as well. Lawless, I doubt, is going to be able to do this one. Pain have just so much control, so much power that Kabum don't really have anything to intimidate with when they try to move forward on the map.
And the funny thing for Pain right now is they're not actually looking for a fight. If you hear what I've been saying, I've been talking a lot about Kabum looking for action. I've not been saying Pain are doing the same, because they're not in a rush. And in fact, their engage options are somewhat limited. A lot of times they're looking for Weiser to go Mega, but they don't want Weiser to group up with them yet. They're looking at Pro Delta to dive in like he did at that Dragon fight, but we've seen Rel multiple times today, Trajan, and Rel needs a little bit of setup. If the enemy team doesn't want to fight you, it's actually a bit difficult for Rel to catch up force fight. She's not the fastest support, and now it looks like Kabum have made the executive decision that, hey, we are not feeling comfortable. Either we find a pick or we don't fight. So you know what? It's only the second Drake for Pain. We're just going to let this one go.
Yeah, far from the end of the world for sure. It is the Infernal Rift that we have coming on here. So we'll put him up to the second for Pain. There it is, uncontested. Kabum again, forward on the top side of the map for starter though. Left alone with a structure. We'll have no problem taking it down.
Yeah, Crossdale has been the bright shining light for Kabum, and it feels like this game as well. Not just in terms of his personal performance, but in terms of the drop. They're saying, okay, Lonely, Crossdale, you two are split pushing. Lonely didn't have the best timing to split push. He's not hit that second item power spike with the mirror mana, so they're letting Crossdale do that work right now. And that's one of the things with these marksman compositions. There's a lot of threat on turrets. You leave anybody alone, they'll take it. But at the same time, the longer these lanes get, the less safe it is for these marksmen to split push.
At the risk of inviting fire and brimstone down from the skies, as I kind of did in the previous game we were casting RMC, this has been a very calm, very slow, very collected, low-action game from Pain and Kabum. It's kind of what we expected from a team as controlled as Pain and a team as kind of lost as Kabum, and this is how the matchup would go. If the rest of this day was just chaos, just nightmares everywhere from every angle, this is like a, I've got, you know, warm cocoa in my hand, I'm wrapped up in a blanket in front of the fire, we're chilling out right now.
Well, Trajan, I recommend you drink that cocoa real quick, because
I'm going to spill it on myself and burn myself when the fight comes out and Kabum get a pentakill. That's what's going to happen.
I agree with the first half of that, Trajan. The second half, we'll see how that one goes. But I do think there should be a big team fight coming up relatively soon. We had mentioned before, Pain is a team that knows how to play around their power spikes. And guess what, Trajan? Second items are completed for Pain across the board. This is where they start to look for some action. If there are no objectives to fight over, well, we're strong enough right now that we feel we can brute force some of these outer turrets, these more exposed turrets. Look at the poke they're putting down.
Easy stepping forward, Zac over the wall, channeling the slingshot. Doesn't commit though. Turret picked up, and they will just step away. No need to force anything additional. Just go and grab the waves, and I imagine in 30 seconds to a minute we'll see them pick up the waves, recall by, and then return on the map. Do the same thing, but there's no outers left, so I wonder if they are going to clump up as they have done just there, or if they might split up, put Wiser back in the side lane.
This is a good move from Kabum. Pain didn't really pay too much attention there and decided to back off, but look at that flag. That is Meganar Wiser.
Wiser, the bars burning away. Lonely push back into the hands of B-Boy, but Kaiser doesn't really want to be melee range as Redbird engages. Oh, slingshot completely cancelled out by the Emperor's Divide. Redbird pops the ultimate, flashes away. Another flash from Lonely, and Kabum haven't lost a man just yet, as Pain Gaming attempt to catch them slipping, but will find no kills.
Redbird, former CBLOL champion, manages to walk away barely, but this is Pain Gaming, and they do not slack off. Instantly, Pink Ward comes down. Their starting Baron, it is a little bit risky. Kabum is all there except for Redbird.
We're somewhat flipping here. They cancelled the blast cone, but Flawless has a way into the pit. Pain Gaming know this. Pro Delta retreats back to the front line.
Mega again.
It's charmed up, goes pretty low. Raven's got the damage. He'll neutralize the Gnar. It's an opening kill for Kabum. 4 versus 5 is playable. B-Boy backlights the Jax. In goes Pro Delta, locks them up, and Crastiel is down. B-Boy picks his moment with the killer instinct. Raven's still alive. He's got to do it all, but in a 1 versus 3, surely there's no way they can make it work. And B-Boy in the backline grabs himself a double.
Let's go, Trajan. How's your hot cocoa now? Still holding on to it?
Told you, my hands are shaking a little bit, but we're okay, we're okay.
This is why I told you, Pain, once they hit their power spikes, they know exactly what they're going for, and they'll be able to pick up this Baron, get the push to boot. My only question is, are they going to wait for Wiser for this one? We won't find that out, because we're going to get the replay on how this kicks off. And watch Pain's decision-making. They're doing Baron, and it looks like they're fully committed. Pro Delta's supposed to do that, but the moment Pro Delta gets pushed out, and it's kind of low, they're like, no, we turn on this fight. Wiser's about to go Mega, and there's zero hesitation. Even here, they're just finishing off the Zac before they continue to commit. And once again, the engage, right, from Pro Delta, just the shot calling and knowing exactly when to turn around and who to turn around on is immaculate, and is why Pain right now is doing so well in the regular season.
So well played by all the Pain members involved there. B-Boy picking his moment very, very well to go into the backline, you know, sticking around, doing just front to back when he needs to, going for the key targets when there's a chance, with the extra Ivern brushes as well to play around hard enough to keep track of Kai'Sa in these fights without those extra bushes getting in the way. As Pain looking for more, they go for the shuffle, double flashes, get them out of safety. Pro Delta tries to slow the backline, and Redbird doing the same thing. Ninkado will not make it out. Craster with a kill. But again, Pain Gaming, once they commit hard.
Back-to-back aces onto Kabum from Pain Gaming, and they are just accelerating the pace of this game. Trajan, we knew that this game was going to be a fast one, that it wasn't going to be long, drawn out, and extended. But Pain is making a statement win. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the fastest game of the split. I don't think they can end on this push, but they are certainly going to break the base open, which makes this game a lot easier for them to close out.
It's going to be an almost insurmountable gold lead. Over 10,000 at the 24-minute mark. We're going to be an inhib down as well. 90 seconds to the Baron power play. I don't think, unless someone for Kabum steps out of line and gets caught out here, I think the game will stretch on a little bit longer. There's a dragon to take as well. Pain seems to be heading over.
Yeah, there's 1 minute more before we start reaching fastest game time. So yeah, I don't think Pain's going to set a new record here, but still very, very impressive. And can I just say, Pro Delta, again, I was just talking about how, the engage from Pain is probably going to be wiser, you know, finding flanks, getting creative with his Gnar, especially when he goes Mega. But no, it's been Pro Delta who's been flanking. Generally supports out the flankers, but Pro Delta never got that note. And frankly, I'm happy he didn't, because his Rel is buying so much time for the rest of the team to force engages.
It has been a very successful debut for Pro Delta here. We had so many questions from internally, literally from the team, as he was kind of splitting time with damage before. We didn't know who they were going to pick. They were bringing him to events, but not playing him, and we weren't really sure how much faith even Pain had in Pro Delta by the way they were using him or not using him. But as soon as they committed, as soon as they've chosen this guy, he has paid off. He's paid dividends very, very handily. He's looking great on the enchanters, great on the engagers. He's kind of got it all to play for, and he is just a rookie. There is still plenty more room to develop for this guy.
True, yeah, he didn't play in Academy last split because he was the 6th man for Pain. But Pro Delta developed in the Academy system, yet another successful story for the Academy system in CBLOL, who has been churning out talent in these last 2 years. Now, Pain feel like they're on a Baron push, the way they're stepping up, but they don't actually have Baron, so the minions can get cleared out. Raven with the Static Shiv and Nash's Tooth right now doing quick work of these waves, and for Pain, you're kind of waiting for these super minions to push in, or Wallace?
On to Pro Delta, but the shields are massive from the Ivern. 3 items deep is more than enough to keep the Rel topped up, as Wiser now has the super minion wave crashing in. Crashtail trying to get control of bot lane. Pain back to top side, and Pain with no hesitation. Crashtail jumping in aggressively onto Wiser. Kabum feel like they have to make some sort of desperation play, but the Gnar with the Hull Breaker is just too damn strong. Massive Qs and a redemption for damage coming out of Karaoke. Kabum are sent packing back to the fountain.
Yeah, with Wiser holding out 2 members, Paige is pushing on that top side. They know they have 4 members, because I'm counting Daisy as her own person right now. She gets to walk on in. She was just tanking that turret like she didn't give a care, and that's 2 inhibitors down. It's getting easier and easier for Pain to be able to pick this up. Are they going to get 3? Wiser chipping away.
Very deftly handled on the base push right now, dragging Kabum this way and that, never having to hard commit, but just shredding through the structures, taking away the last hopes for Kabum to avoid the first round robin, going absolutely winless. But that is looking like what it's going to be here today. Fluxu almost made the comeback work earlier, but I think this one, Pain to Kabum, the lead is almost 13,000 gold in the favor of our 2nd place team, and they should be able to close this out in just a few minutes.
And Trajan, when Fluxu managed to make the turn around and almost find a way, and they had a lot of burst options. For Kabum right now, if they want to do the same thing, Raven somehow got to find a priority target. And by that, I mean Bvoy or Dinkato. I don't think he has enough damage with the Riftmaker to burst down a Mega Gnar. If you could take out Wiser, I'd say that too. Lonely now caught out by Wiser, does a TP to follow as well. Bye-bye, Lonely.
Yeah. You don't take out Wiser. Wiser takes out you. The TP in from Dinkato, perhaps not even necessary. And a flash away from Lonely, buying as much time as he can. Q's out of the brush, but it's a killing spree for the Gnar as the pushes come out. The mid lane once again under threat from Pain.
30 seconds on Baron. Pain have a choice. Do you want to go for this bot side inhib, or do you want to grab Baron? Actually, Porke Nolo still might not take both.
The fight B-Boy's in deep looking for Raven. In fact, he's been discovered as a priority target. But Flawless is there to knock the heads together. Takes out one, pushes the other to resurrection. Wiser's ended up behind them somehow and has just gone mega. Both the carries have gone down, or rather carry for support. Lonely's already dead, remember, and Kabum, the last few members, will just evaporate, eliminated one by Pain. And it was not the fastest game, but it might have been the fastest game of the day. Just inside 29 minutes. Pain Gaming consistent and deadly as ever. We'll move to 7-2.
Shouldn't I ask Baron or Inhibitor? Pain went no. We take your Nexus.
No. Yeah,
it was that clean. Pain, they're just looking so good right now. Like Kabum, oh man, they look so sad. But I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the games in this first round robin for Kabum, this was the one. I think you said it as well, that we thought was least winnable for Kabum. Yeah. So I don't think it's an undeserved loss for Kabum. I think Pain, they're just really good.
That's really good, man.